Welcome everyone to the SuperEZ six-figure final announcement call, hopefully answering every single question you have. So everybody is, concerned in questions in terms of how this membership is working. So the first thing I want to tell you is a little bit about who we are. So I know Elvis and Pat have known each other for a long time. I have definitely not. I don't know Elvis too well, but from what I understand, Pat knows him and believes in him, and that's enough for me. So I will speak in terms of Pat and myself. All I know is that you have a couple people who have figured out a skill and an art to trading, enough so that we're either able to move our families across country. He's in the process of moving his across country. I don't know if he wants that known as to where yet, but to where we're able to have financial freedom to live how we want to live and do what we want to do. So you have a few people who have the heart to help people, who have an ability and a skill that we can potentially pass on to you and hopefully help you learn what we're doing. So now that I've said that, what I want you to understand is that we can, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime, that whole concept, and we can show you. But I promise you the biggest difference in terms of people who are paying their bills with trading and people who are constantly quitting and who have traded for 10 years and have never once withdrawn is because they have a totally different emotional intelligence. So a brief, really synopsis on myself. I had failed quite a bit early on, and then I started having success. But once I had the success, as most of you know, you win a whole bunch and then you give it all back. You win a whole bunch and you give it all back. So I got into this really nasty habit of just poor trading habits. What really turned it around for me, and yes, I had made some withdrawals prior to joining SuperEZ, but never as consistently. The biggest thing that happened for me was controlling my emotions. That means whether it wins, whether it loses, no matter what happens, like this one trade does not make or break me. Hence the reason why I got really good at growing small accounts. I don't put in $5,000 or $10,000 and expect to become a millionaire. I play with a couple $100 at a time. I'm okay if I blow it when I'm doing high risk. And if I'm not doing high risk, I typically never blow an account. I just trade. I withdraw what I need at the end of 1 or 2 weeks, and I kind of go on with my life. It's really, really stress-free. So again, you've got a couple people who are willing to put their necks on the line, to be recorded, to speak to lots of people at a time, get hundreds of messages a day, and we're doing the best we can. So please bear that in mind. What we're trying to do with you guys and for you guys is I'm praying with everything in me that we can turn some of you into six-figure income earners. You don't have to be a millionaire. Most people in America make less than $40,000 a year. I think it's insane, the statistics on that stuff. The reality is, even if you made $50,000 in a year from trading, most of you, that would replace your day job. $50,000 a year, tax-free. Well, no, I'm sorry, that was really bad. Delete that. But you don't have to pay for your gas to get to work, new tires to get to work, clothes for work, health insurance from work. You're going to pay Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid taxes, or whatever they call that, FIFA, Social Security taxes and FIFA, however they figure that. And then that's it. So your cost of living will decrease substantially, and your chance at a better life is substantially, increased. So what we're looking to do is help change a few people's lives. And when you understand that, I think that we can all look at that from a much different perspective. So now that we've said all that, before I get onto these calls, I am not a perfect person. I am just somebody who tries really hard to do the next right thing, to make the next good influence, to make the next impact that I can make. So I know that Pat and myself are consistently praying for you guys, and I pray that you guys would find it in your hearts to pray for us as we try to lead you guys to a whole different life. So now that I've said all that as quickly as possible, which I'm usually pretty good at because I talk really fast, what is this new membership group about? So as you know, it comes with several cool tools which potentially are life-changing. I'm not going to go into depth about what the dashboard is because Pat has got a dozen videos on that already. But essentially, once you get it working the way it needs to work, and yes, that is kind of a kink, you got to figure it out. It's hard at first. You can get all the alerts you need for 15-minute setups if you're a now and then trader, or if you're like an hour trader or a 4-hour trader, or for those of you who only use the daily dots, you can get all the perfect alerts to check at the perfect times. And if you want to talk about financial freedom, money means nothing if you have no time for it. So if you have to give up 20 hours of your day and no sleep and you get a bunch of gray hairs, I promise you money means nothing. The real concept of wealth, and for anybody who's achieved real wealth, who's achieved financial independence, is time freedom. So what that tool gives you is time freedom. And of course, it comes with a more advanced version of the Daily Dot. It is pretty awesome if you're asking me, and I absolutely adore it. So that's kind of the tools that come with it. I do believe Pat has some other things coming out in the near future, but as you guys can see, this is a big process, trying to get hundreds and hundreds of people in where they need to be, understanding what they need to understand, and they're all coming from different walks of life, so it's a process. Bear with us. As for the rest of the membership, here's how this works. We are going to be doing signals and live trading calls that we're going to kind of keep separate from the SuperEZ group, not to keep them out of things, but to keep it simple. We have some people joining the group who have never traded a day in their lives. They don't understand the concept of buying and selling. They don't understand like base pair, and they don't understand anything. So when we're trying to advance some of you guys to a new level, it's a little bit difficult to do that with the super newbies. So the whole concept is there's going to be a few newbie trainings for them every week in the regular group, so Pat can keep his commitment of a lifetime membership to anybody who bought the SuperEZ system. So he's doing his best to keep his word and advance his company, which is the right thing to do for anybody who's ever owned or operated a business. So what we're doing is we're separating that to this new, advanced group that does have a monthly membership. It does come with tools that make it well worth it. And then, of course, we have the six-figure challenge and signals. Signals, as you guys know, a signal is simply a trade idea. No one is saying jump in that. No one is saying that you should go do exactly what it says. In fact, your first job is to analyze that trade, is to go to your charts, see what you see if it matches your rules, and if you think it's ready, you should enter the trade, if you know how, and if you know how to manage the trade. If you can't see that setup, then don't enter the trade. It's very simple. Again, I've gotten signals from multimillionaires that have been winners that I've missed and losers that I've missed. And there's no perfect answer. There is no perfect signal. We're only doing this to help some of the people maybe get to the next level. There will be losing trades, and that is going to be no one to blame. It is 100% your choice to take that signal. So we are going to keep it to where the trade will have the name of the pair, whether it's a buy or a sell. It'll have a stop loss and a take profit, but those are, again, trade ideas. So if you know it's an now and later trade, you can decide to go for 10 pips or for 20 pips or whatever. You can decide how you manage that trade. But the biggest thing that you're doing when taking a signal and or managing your own trades is always move your stop loss into profit. And again, what that means is you can decide that once you're 4 pips in profit, you move your stop loss to break even. You can decide that once you're 10 pips in profit, you move your stop loss to break even. This way, you never give the market a chance to take from you. So that's kind of the entire concept. When you get a signal, your job is to analyze that signal. Pat is not going to agree with every signal I give. Elvis is not going to agree with every signal Pat gives. But that's the whole concept of having a multitude of people who see things from a different perspective. And that can be very amazing. So now we can talk to people who are in London. Obviously, I'm asleep. We can talk to people who are trading New York and even Asian session, and we can do amazing things. But always remember, when you get a signal or take a trade for yourself, your job is to analyze it against your own rules, decide if you think it's ready, and then you take that trade with 100% ownership. Because trading and success in any area or any business requires maturity. And I've learned that because, again, I've been a business owner in a multitude of companies across the board. I've had a ton of success and I've had a ton of failure. And I promise you, the biggest difference is going to be your mindset. It's going to be your personal growth and your ability to take ownership and take it to the next level. The biggest difference between myself and most people who fail and quit is I would not quit that company or that trade idea. Well, not trade idea is a bad example, but I wouldn't quit that business plan until I either broke even, okay, or was in profit. And then if I didn't find it to be a viable business solution, I went on to the next idea. That's kind of how I operated. But that's the only reason why I've had a lot of success in life, is because I simply did not quit until I was able to break even and get my money back that I invested into the idea. And that is what helped me stick with trading. So when you guys get these signals, your job is to check the charts. And we're going to go over a few different ways to analyze a trade according to different rules. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet so people can review this a billion times. We're going to go over how to manage your trade, exactly what that means in layman's terms to the best of my human ability. Okay, and we're going to go over how many trades you can take and how to compound. So since I have this up first and foremost, we're going to start here, okay? As you guys know, you guys can totally do this very safe way, which is simply whatever your account balance is multiplied by whatever percent you choose. If you want to be safe, the whole concept is to stay less than 10%. And then I promise you, it will take a catastrophic event or some huge news thing to knock out this account if you're trading with 10% and you're following these instructions. So again, since I haven't read these on any public call, and I'm not sure if you guys are reading these, because I get questions on every single one of these that I wrote down already, I'm going to read this on this call right now. So instructions, pretty simple. For your own trades or for the account that you're using for the six-figure challenge, here's how you compound, okay? Step 1, change box B2 to 50% of your starting balance if you're using less than 1,000 to 1 leverage. If you don't know what this means, you need to Google that. You need to YouTube that. At some point, we have to take ownership of our own self-education, okay? So 1,000 to 1 leverage, if you don't have at least that much, so you're using less than this, you need to change this to 50% and then trade it as if it's 50% all the way down, okay? If you're trading with 1,000 to 1 leverage or greater, you can keep that as your actual account balance, because I promise you how we're doing this, I'm going to go to this more risky one, will not blow your account even with this. It's going to be hard and a little bit far-fetched, but we're doing it so safe because there's so many different people on these calls that I can't control what are those calls? I can't control the outside influences. I can't control what you guys are doing, so I have to keep this very, very safe. If it was just me, I would be doing this very, very differently, and I'd be totally okay with the results. But again, that takes maturity. So step 2, change box C3 to 5% for safe trading and up to 10, right? And effective growth, okay, good risk management. Or you can change box C3 to 20% for high risk six-figure challenge. I will tell you, because this call is recorded, that most 2,000 to 1, oh, did I say that wrong? Oh, yep, sorry. I will correct that. I will say this because it is a recorded call, that on a 2,000 to 1 leverage account, you can increase this, but do so at your own accord. Do so at your own level of understanding. The reason I have it set at 20%, because as you guys saw on this morning's call, I'm pretty sure the same person who was cranky was the same voice that I heard talking about only taking these lot sizes. Well, I would tell you guys to do a higher percentage if I could be confident that you follow instructions. But since I don't know what I don't know, in all fairness, I have to do this very safely. And to give us enough room for these smaller take profits and larger ones, 20% is probably the safest we're going to get and still be super highly aggressive. If I knew you guys were going to stick to take profits that were 40 and above or 35 and above, you know, we could definitely increase this number. But I'm telling you that for your own personal growth, not for this specific challenge, okay? But for your own personal growth, so you understand what leverage works and what doesn't. If you're taking not these scalp trades, you can totally go a little bit higher because you're taking lower lot sizes. You see the difference? But for people who are going to want to try to be like this and be aggressive times aggressive, you know, that's just stupid. Because if you multiply aggressive times more aggressiveness, you're equaling disaster. You can do one aggressive, you know, plus some modesty, and one aggressive, or like one aggressive, for example, if you're doing a smaller percentage, that won't kill you. Doing a 10% and then you're going a little bit more aggressive with smaller take profits, this won't kill you. But I promise, if you multiply one aggressive factor times another aggressive factor, such as a smaller take profit, you are now putting your account in jeopardy. So since we can only afford to be aggressive in one of these columns, we're going to go with a percentage of about 20%, and that gives you room to pick different lot sizes based off of the trading style that you're using. So again, those box numbers are wrong. Sorry, I was refiguring the sheet before I added in the days. I can fix that. Step 3, use the column B to determine your lot size. If your account is equal to, okay, or more than the account shown in that column B, you can use the lot size based on that pip call in the same row. So if your account size is equal to or greater than this number, you can use this. But if your account is less than this number, you cannot afford to use these lot sizes. And that's based off of a specific algorithm that is protecting your account based off of numbers and percentages. That is how that is figured. So please don't go trading this account size, this lot size, if your account is still in the 600 range. Okay, if your account is in the 600 range, you need to be closer to these lot sizes. And if you're doing this safely, Sure, it's probably going to take you all of these trades to get to six figures, this many, because some of them are going to close out early. Not all of them are worth the same amount, but I promise you it's possible. So again, I hope you guys understand that you're trading it based off of the size of your account. If your account is this number or greater, you can afford to trade this row. If it is smaller than this number, you need to go to the next row that is closest to your actual account balance, okay? So I hope that answers all the questions based off of that. This is based off of per trade you take, so simply go line by line. So even if you're in two trades at once, like you guys saw this morning, my account size wasn't any bigger yet, so my lot size was still going to be in this category. If my current lot size is not bigger than this, okay, equal to or bigger than this, I cannot afford to go to the next one, so I'm still basing it off of the first column, just so you guys have a super clear understanding of that. This sheet is approximate and is based on USD pairs only, so numbers won't be exact due to the fees, spreads, swaps, and commission. The idea is simply to keep growing, not to be super exact. So even if your account doesn't equal exactly this much dollars after closing this much pips with that much percentage, no problem, you're just going to the next trade. People are trying to get so exact that they're confusing themselves. You have the option to use a trade calculator, a pip calculator. I posted several in the notification channel. You're more than welcome to go look at them. One of them is very complex and one of them is very easy. They both will work just fine. And obviously there are apps such as MyFXBook and Stenu. So you have an option to be super exact if you choose to be. You don't necessarily have to be because this will work sufficiently. It won't work dollar for dollar, but does it really matter if you still got to six figures or if you still got to 70,000? It doesn't really matter. Okay, how we got there. It just matters that we got there. So for my train of thought and my sanity, I typically just stick with this. Of course, it doesn't equal to be the same because some pairs are not worth $10 a pip, and because some pairs they move different, they fluctuate different. So I'm okay with the results. If you're okay with the results, you're more than welcome to just use these lot sizes. You will be amazed at what you can do. There's a handful of people I've worked with personally that have turned their accounts to six figures. There are a handful of people who have turned $100 into 15,000 by themselves using these kinds of spreadsheets. Not going to a pip calculator, not figuring out all that other mess, but just staying consistent. So you can do it too, okay? Next option obviously is use a pip calculator if you choose to, or again, you can just stick with this and know it'll be different. Always move your stop loss into profit. So once you're up a few pips, okay, if you're up 10 pips, put your stop loss at break even. If you're up, 17 pips, move it up past that and just keep moving it up. That's the whole concept. As most of you know, I do typically work with trade managers because it makes trading very, very easy. The best and worst signals in the world will mean absolutely nothing if you do not know how to manage your trade. Okay? Do not be in more than two trades at the same time if compounding high risk with high leverage. Again, I know what my accounts can handle because I've been trading high risk for a while. My basic trading plans are closer to 10%. I follow them pretty consistently. I do super well. And they're kind of like I pay my bills with this account kind of accounts. But when I go a little bit more aggressive and I'm just trying to see how far I can grow, I know how to do that as well. And I know how many accounts how many trades your account can hold. Again, there's too many variables. So as much as I would love to tell you to take 3 or 4, we both know that some pairs are worth more per dollar. We also know that some people are taking lot sizes based off of this, and some people are taking lot sizes based off of this. So to protect yourself, we're saying 2 trades at a time, at the very most 3. If you're doing risky, and if you're doing the safe and compounding kind of just steady, you shouldn't be in any more than 4 to 5 trades at a time. And that is best case scenario. If you follow these rules, you not only can pay your everyday bills, but you can compound an account to 10, 20,000 withdrawal, or 30, 40,000 withdrawal, or even at 6 figures. But it's going to take a lot of growth individually. So always wait for the first trade to be in profit with stop loss moved into profit. That protects your margin. Mostly it's not an issue down here, like I've mentioned many, many times. It really becomes an issue up here. You really got to start to be protective. So you'll kind of see the difference in how I trade. I'm a lot less careful up here because I know that my account can withstand some of these losses. These losses, on the other hand, typically hurt and or blow your account based off of leverage alone. Okay. Never enter a trade that does not match your own rules and criteria. If you can't see it, don't enter it. So Pat's going to send out now letter trades. A couple of the ones he sent out, well, I don't know if it was him or Elvis, because remember, Elvis trades London too. I don't know who sent it out. I'm sorry. But either way, they're going to be valid for X amount of minutes, for X amount of pips, for X amount of time. You have to know the difference in, even if it was myself sending out a 10 pip scalp, you have to know the difference. Okay, this trade is valid for a very, very short time. So if I don't have the chance to watch and babysit this trade, I probably should not be entering a scalp kind of trade. If I'm content with entering a trade where I'm going to just let it ride, a couple of the calls that were made, GBP CAD and Euro GBP, are still being held. We have to learn how to do that. Some of these trades we hold for days, and it's kind of stinks because we're not taking another one in some cases, but I promise you we will survive this. But this is a marathon, not a sprint. So everyone's got to get all their emotions ready and where they need to be so we can make it to the end of this. Because again, our goal is to change some lives. And it's going to take a lot of us to do that. It's going to take a lot of us mentally, emotionally, and physically to do this. So let's work together and be prepared for a marathon and not a sprint. So don't enter a trade that you don't see. Don't be super worried if it's being held. Don't be super worried if it lost. Guys, even if it took us 100 trades, it doesn't matter. If it took us 30 trades, it doesn't matter. I'm sure there are a few times it'll take us 40 if we continue to do this successfully. And there'll be some times where it'll take us 70 trades before we get there. It's still totally doable. And I'm hoping some of you will withdraw when you get to that, whatever your life goal is. Okay, which brings us into this point. You can choose to close the trade at take profit, okay, at trade profit goal. You can hold the trade if it's still kind of moving in the right direction, only if your stop loss is protected, right, and in profit, and only until you either get the next signal or find the next trade. My personal rule, because I wanted you guys to know what that is, when I have time and when I'm able to watch it, okay, which is not all the time, but I'm going to stay in that trade or I'll, re-enter, etc., so forth, as long as it's on the lower part of the 8 EMA for a sell, and obviously all my rules line up, or if it's above the 8 EMA for a buy, and again, all my rules line up, I'm going to keep holding it. Why would I not? Why am I going to give away an extra 50 pips that I could have had when I have no other perspectives, prospects right now? Just so you guys know. It's a really good strategy. You guys can kind of pick and choose your poison. The 5 and 13 cross is pretty big with most people. Market makers use that 13 moving average quite a bit. I mean, I know people who use the 12, the 10, the 15, whatever you want to use. It's your personal choice. But that's just one of the tips and tricks I use. So again, never risk more than 5-10% of your account when trading your everyday trading style. And if you do this, you're going to be surprised. The people I've worked with, I'm not a perfect person, guys. I try really hard. Most of them can tell you that when they come back to me in a few weeks later, they're like, wow, wait a minute. And I have 80% accuracy, or I have 90% accuracy. I've had a few people with a little bit less than that, but not many. And then it blows them away, like how consistent you can be if you're willing to follow some basic rules. So, and again, never risk more than 30% on an aggressive trading plan. So now we have officially discussed that live on a call that's been recorded that was written out for you guys. So that should answer 90% of your questions. The last thing I'm going to say in terms of the compounding, whether it be on your own accounts or in terms of the six-figure challenge, is if you guys need exactly $16,000 to pay off your car note and you get to this number, please withdraw. Your job is to withdraw this number, pay off the car note, and then start again. You can start with higher than $100 this time. Maybe start with $400 or $500. That's fine. But first, pay off that car note. Okay. If your job, if you require $59,000 or $79,000 to pay off your mother's medical bill or to get the down payment for the house you need, and this is going to be your level up moment in life, and we get to this level, please withdraw. And that is your job. That is your personal responsibility. It's also being a good steward of your money, being trusted with what God has given you. And it's just a flat out good decision. So when you hit whatever milestone you need to hit to pay off all your debt, if you have $34,000 in credit card debt and student loans, and you get to this number, don't be the silly one who says, hey, we're only 5 trades away from 6 figures. Withdraw. That is your moral and personal responsibility, is to figure out what your next level in life is and withdraw at that point. I will definitely withdraw before I hit 6 figures because I want to be a good influence. And then maybe once I can get enough of you to that point a few times, I don't mind pushing it because I won't mind blowing a $300,000 account publicly. Because otherwise this is kind of emotional, okay? So it's a bit of a day, that day, in all fairness. I will say that yesterday was my biggest day in trading that I've had in the last over 3 years. And it wasn't even a super big day. And as you guys know, I don't typically trade Mondays. So that's really saying something of what's possible. So now that I've said that, we're going to go over to, as quick as possible, I'm making good time. Look at that. New share. I'm going to go over to my VPS. I'm going to share a portion of my screen. There we go. There it is. Perfect. I'm going to have to move this Zoom box out the way. There we go. Oh, that's weird. That's not going to work. Move it again. I'm going to minimize it. There we go. I'm going to minimize it. I currently have 4 brokers open currently. At any given time, I'm running 4 to 6 different MT4s at one time. Again, because I'm managing a lot of EAs. Most of them are trade managers. Most of them, then they do not trade for you per se. Again, mostly because, well, I don't think most of them work. I have yet to find one that works consistently. There are some that work, but they just don't work well enough consistently. So whatever that it means, I don't know. I'm sure there are some out there, but I don't personally love them. So when I say an EA, I mean the stuff that tracks my FX book is an EA. The stuff that manages my trade, so it'll take me in and out of a trade silently and quickly. It will, you know, plop in the trailing stop for me, those kinds of EAs. And I need that much power because I'm checking a multitude of different screens as I'm going along. So if we get a signal, for example, I'm going to go to 2 different screens. This is our triple arrow setup right here. And somewhere yesterday we got a signal to sell. I think it was like here-ish, give or take. It went up. Okay, it went into profit first. So some people closed out with 10 pips the first time. I don't know how many, but there are some people who did. I think the most they caught was 10 pips. So I'm guessing that sell was around here. I can't confirm what time it was entered. Okay, I'm going to do this. I probably should have looked that up before this call, so I apologize. That was my, I dropped the ball on that one. Okay. But either way, so USD had a call and it was brought in the signals group. Your guys' job is to come to your charts and to look at different time frames, to look at your different indicators and see if you agree with the sell. So in this case, those of them who entered, they did catch the 10 pips, and a lot of them caught more pips today on that. So in total, on my account, I think I got a total of 33 pips on USD CAD. And it doesn't seem like much, but when you calculate how many pips we're actually going to need at the end of this challenge, 33 pips is enough, okay? It is definitely enough. A little bit is enough. So we are currently on the 1 hour chart. The majority of signals you get are going to be on the 1 hour or less. Some of them are going to be on 15-minute. Some of them are going to be on 30-minute. Some people use the 5-minute and call it the day chart. But I'm going to say that it's still a 5-minute entry. It's based off of an intraday strategy. So most of our strategies are going to be intradays or now and laters, meaning that they close within the same couple of days. I can't afford to give you guys swing trades primarily because holding them for weeks on end becomes massively burdensome on you and on me. Just the amount of messages alone. There's no physical human way that I can spend that many hours talking and then answer that many questions. So I'm only one person. That's all I've got. So having said that, when you get a signal, for example, this one, let's pretend we wanted to go see what it was doing on the now and later time frame. Okay. So we're currently on our triple arrow chart. Wait for this to load and set up. And we wanted to see, oopsie, what was happening here. Okay, at this point, we didn't have triple arrows for a sell. I'm sorry, for a buy. We were below the 50. We had just broke another fractal somewhere in and around this point. And this would have been confusing for me, but then again, I don't use the ADX on this time frame. So either way, we would confirm it with our rules and say, do we want to take this for a sell? When we look at the big picture of this, it is going down. So if you go with the trend, you already have X amount of percentage of being right. It doesn't mean you won't face this pullback. It just means you have X amount of percentage of being right. So whatever time that signal was sent, it did end up being right for a couple pips, and then it did go against us, and it dropped for even more. So again, in total, I got 33 pips on that account, which because I'm trading that account live with the real account number, and it's only been deposited in once, everybody will see exactly how this works. But again, my whole concept, guys, is that as soon as I was in profit, I don't know how many pips I was up in profit on that one, but I did move my stop loss into profit. So I ended up closing out with a couple pips on this one, and I ended up getting back in this morning. I don't want to confirm exactly what time and then be a liar, but I will go back into the 1 hour chart because I want to be as accurate as possible for you guys. We had looked at the trade, and we said, okay, it pulled back. We had broken this fractal level according to what I see in the ways that I trade. We were in the right direction. Oopsie. We were in the right direction as the triple arrows at the time on the 1 hour chart. We were in the right direction as quite a few things. So this candle right here is the candle that finally broke this low. And again, we stayed below the 50. We did a nice retest. We made a lower low. We had an 8 and 18 crossover. Our momentum was up. Our sell was up. Our seller's power was up, and our buyers were down. Everything lined up. We rejected off the zero line. We took this for a sell, and again, we won. So that's fantastic. But not all trades will work that simply. But if we get a signal, for example, let's say we were looking at Euro GBP, which we are still in. I'm still holding just like the rest of you. This account I will trade live just like the rest. This is definitely pulling back. That's ugly. That's awful. The good news about this pair is it typically moves so slow that the odds of it hitting our stop loss are pretty small. Again, primarily because it just moves really slow. So can it come all the way back up and retest there? It absolutely can. We're not in control of that. Some people got out of this in profit already once, and some people did not. But it also, again, comes down to management. So whenever that signal was called, it was called for a sell, and we entered it on the call today. Mostly we entered it late, honestly, and we were just chasing trades. We analyzed a couple that I wanted to go over because there were so many signals given. I didn't want to overburden, so I was 50-50 on whether or not I wanted to call a signal at all because there were already so many people were in. Again, the rules are we can't be in more than 2 to 3 if you're trading high risk, 4 to 5 if you're doing it safely. So those are the rules. I didn't want to bombard you. Either way, nonetheless, we jumped in. All the rules lined up in all fairness. So we were right. We followed our rules to the best of our ability. We did what we thought was the right thing. So now currently we're in drawdown. We're hoping that it rejects off this 50. I'm going to check another chart real quick. It'll be off what you guys see. But essentially, our next 4 hour support is at 89642. So let's see where that is on this chart. 8, 9. So this is slightly above that. So we're hoping that this support that we have right here will hold and it'll reject. Worst case scenario. Again, there are no guarantees in trading. This is the best we do. Most of us who can trade, we don't freak out. There was a gentleman this morning, I'm pretty sure it was Dorian, I'm sorry if I get it wrong, but he was saying that, look, he's been in odd NZD for quite some time, and he's happy, he's not losing sleep. He's down a lot of money, what most of us would consider a lot of money. It would make a car payment kind of amount of money. But the thing is, he's not losing any sleep because he knows what he's doing. The only deficit and hard part about this specific thing is that we have to have specific stop losses so you guys, and so we are accountable more accurately. That's what makes it hard. But most of us are pretty confident of our trade. I'm not worried about where the trade is going. I would be concerned about the stop losses we have to give as per signals because, well, we trade different. We trade confidently. We know what our trade is going to do, even if it has to play around and mess with our emotions a little while. So again, I'm going to go to a different chart for this one. When that signal came out, most people had a better entry than we did if you took it on the live call with me. I can't confirm exactly where, and I don't want to be a liar, but give or take in and around this time frame, because this was, no, it was before that, because 1600, this is 8 a.m., this is 9 a.m., right? So that signal was sent somewhere in and around this time frame. Most people should have been in profit by a decent amount. Granted, this is not a fast mover, okay? But either way, by some decent amount, even if they got in late. Whereas most of us, we were playing with it more on this candle. So, a long pair. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't adding up. Now we're right, sorry. So if we got in somewhere around here, it wasn't much of a different entry. There you go. We would have gotten a little bit on one of these candles, which makes sense. That's where the entry is. So we got in a little bit after that. If whoever got it at the top of this hour or on this candle, I'm not sure. I know it was before the 1500 candle. That's all we're doing is we're going to take our setup. We're going to look at our rules and say, okay, does it line up? And I'm going to scroll out real quick. So currently we are below the 50. Currently we are in the same direction as the 4 hour triple arrow saying sell. We had a retest of the 50 and a nice wick to the top side. We retested previous support and we made an impulse move to the downside. So again, I liked this pair, but it feels like it's going to play with us quite a bit, and it moves real slow, but it also moves really safe. So slow isn't always bad. It's just sometimes it's the safer way to bounce around. But what we saw when we decided to enter, which was somewhere, if that signal got sent here or here, I can't confirm exactly where, and I don't want to be a liar. Okay, we were playing with it somewhere in this area, at the bottom of any of these three candles. So when we saw it, everything was lining up. Can I confirm exactly where? No, I don't want to be a fibber. So at that point, GBP was stronger. Euro was weaker, which is exactly what we need to see for a sell. Our Renko was saying sell. Our profit extreme was saying sell. And we were below the zero, which is a sell. And of course, our sellers are in control. Momentum was facing up. We're below the 50, fresh 818 crossover. The daily support wasn't attractive, but other than that, we had enough rules that said sell. So now our job is to be patient. This is a signal that I would have called myself. Personally, I would have made the same call on this trade, just so you guys are on the same page. The daily dots, a little but we're going to see how it goes. So our job, once we get signals and or take trades of our own, is to simply check them with our rules, decide if we want to take this trade or not, and then move along. So we're not going to think about this. We're not going to fret about this. We're not going to wonder nonstop. It's not what we're meant to do. Our job is to take the signal and leave the results up to the system. That's it. So now to go over GBP odd, which was another thing we talked about today. I did not move my entry, anything. You guys saw me move my stop loss on that call, and I showed you guys where some support was in the chat. I'm just kind of holding. Some people got into profit, I think, here, give or take. I can't exactly say where they entered. Everyone's broker is different. Everyone's timing is different. The amount of variables on these calls with this many people is extreme. That's why most people who have groups like this, they have no chat channels. So there's nowhere for anybody to talk. Sure, they're going to post you a week worth of results saying, here's the trades we took, but they don't have anyone to talk to. And Pat doesn't want to do that. He wants to keep this family environment. So in order for us to do that, we're going to have to realize that we're all coming from different points and we got to work together. So again, same trade, horrible entry, super nervous this morning. I still believe this is a buy. Do I know when or how? I absolutely don't. I know that some people closed in profit, as you guys saw in the group, and I know some people hit a stop loss, right? But what we see, even as of currently right now, if we're going to analyze this trade, if we were looking for an entry right now, not in the past, nowhere else, but right now, it's pretty simple. GBP is strong. It does look like it's peaking down. That's not super appealing. We have our, that one's super hard to read, but we'll make it bigger just for the conversation purposes. Okay, we definitely are saying buy here. Not a lot of volume there, but it is say buy. Okay. Our profit filter extreme is not an agreement, so that does not count as a confirmation, right? And of course, we've got our MACD facing upward. We're above the zero. Not a lot of volume here. Again, not attractive, but then again, we're in Asian session, so we understand that. And now we've played around for a while, which is awful to get in right here, but we also know an explosive move is coming. So our goal is to hope that we're in the right direction, that we're going with the market. And that is what we're doing. So we have our momentum facing up. We're above the 25 now, finally, just marginally, but we are. And of course, our buyer's in control. That's really all we can do. We can't do a whole bunch of other things. So this was a down market. We finally broke, came up, retested, and now we're looking for this move to go to the upside when we kind of zoom out. That's what we're looking at. Are there any guarantees? Absolutely not. There's nothing we can do. But what we can choose to do is to take these trades. A couple of the other trades closed in profit. USD CAD closed in profit. I don't know what other ones. Odd NZD, I think, finally dropped. And I can go over each trade if you guys would like. But I want to cut those that part short because I want it to be super clear. So if anybody has a very specific only question, okay, specific, USD chef closed in profit or was protected at least. I'm just going over the signals that have been called. Then I will answer it, but I want to keep this short. So if it's something that I've already discussed and you need to rewatch the recording, please honor the group and just watch the recording. There's a guy talking. Who's that?
And you know what? I don't have a fee. I called earlier for his phone, and I told him about because I was talking with because of the sweat. So it's like I was talking. Pardon me?
I'm trying to mute that guy. I don't know even whose name it is. Does anybody see his name pop up by chance?
Sergio looks like.
Thank you. I'm trying to mute him. I'll have to go through to find his name because he's not at the top. Because last time I tried to unmute everyone and do that, it really backfired, so I don't want to do that again.
Been too much today. It's been a mess. It's like great.
That's strange. Everyone looks like they're muted. There we go, Sergio, mute. There we go. All right, so if anybody has a very specific question that I did not cover, that is going to explain how to take signals, how to manage a trade. Oh, I didn't cover that, fair enough. Once you're in the trade, guys, your job, I did cover that. I covered it to the best of my ability. Your job is to move your stop loss into profit. So I went over that to the best of my ability. If you don't know what that means, we need to talk about YouTube. I can start busting out some videos to help where I can. But I promise you all that information is out there. So if there's any other questions in terms of how we're taking these trades, what we're doing when we take them, okay, how we're managing them, how to use the signals or how to use this group, go ahead and step up now, say your name and where you're calling from, and we will kind of get that answered as quickly as possible.
Hello.
Hey, who's this?
Kurt.
Hey, Kurt, how are you?
How you doing? So for the six-figure, are we taking most likely more than one trade, or is just one trade? Like
Okay, so that's a good question, and I want to honor every single person. I went over that, but I'll go over that again. So we're going to take, if you're trading safely and slowly, you're going to take 4 at the most 5 trades at one time.
Okay.
And those rules are written specifically out on that trading compounding sheet. Now, if you're trading aggressively and your goal is to hit 6 figures with me, what you need to acknowledge and accept is that you have a very high chance of blowing an account. If you're in a place financially where you're okay with blowing a $100 account, let's have some fun. Let's not stress. Let's blow some accounts until you guys see 6 figures. That's how I look at it. In that account, you can be in 2, at the very most 3 at one time. Okay?
Okay. And that's being aggressive. 3 to 4 is being aggressive?
No. 2 to 3 is being aggressive. Be mindful that you're going for 20% growth per trade. Mind you that some of these stop losses are decently large. Mind you that some of these take profits are not 25 pip take profits. So hopefully if you're not going for the scalp lot size and you're going for 20%, you'll be golden. But if you're going for the scalp lot size and you're going for 20%, it's just a matter of time until you blow your account. So.
Oh wow. Okay. And then like most likely what sessions are you? Is it like a specific session you focusing on, or it's just whatever setups you find?
So here's my vision. I know that the other leaders in the group, so the other master traders, the other leaders, they are going to be dropping signals in the group. There is one gentleman who has his call on Monday night. I'm not 1,000% certain of what that looks like for him. And on his behalf, I know that another gentleman, Pat, the owner and founder of SuperEZ, his calls are going to be Tuesday and Wednesday mornings, and he's going to keep it newbie friendly, if you will. So he's going to keep it just doing what he's doing, no stress, whatever. And again, he will also be dropping signals in the group. And as for myself, I have committed to a couple signals a week in that Telegram channel. Just so you understand, we've each committed to a couple signals a week that we can find and drop in there. My hope, more or less, is to jump on a Zoom and say, hey, who's free? Let's hang out. Let's put on some music. Let's just hang out. But everyone's got to be like in a good place. No drama, no negativity. Trading is hard enough without drama. Let's be honest. Like, there's a lot of emotion that goes into this. And if you guys can possibly understand just how much emotion goes into this, it's a lot.
No, so, it is.
We know that we can turn an account to 6 figures. I know that I can do that. I know that I can do that like the back of my hand. I know I can blow accounts along the way. And that's why before I even agreed to do this, that was the first thing I told you guys. But the whole concept is that it's fun. That it's just meant to be fun. The truth is, with or without me or signals, the odds are y'all are going to blow an account. So we may as well do it on the way to 6 figures and have some fun and hang out and get to know each other. That's how I look at it.
That's true. I agree. Because I mean, I'm coming from like the options world. Like I'm dabbling in so many different platforms, like stock options and things like that. So last week I lost like almost $1,000. So I'm with the blown account right now. Like I'm keeping it honest, and I'm down even more on my Charles Schwab account right now. So I'm ready.
Okay.
Lose 400 or 500. whatever. Like I'm ready to go. I'm trying to get to six figures. So
Well, I love your attitude. I will say, like, maybe perfect one trade, or I don't
yeah,
perfect it, but get proficient at it. Because
yeah,
I
that
tell you, I became the biggest loser on the planet by trying to do what everybody else was doing 100 times, and I failed at all of them because I learned none of them. So,
yeah, that makes sense. That's why I want to focus on just this. So that's why, I'm like asking so much questions. I don't want to like run around anymore. I just want to stay focused on this one thing because I just want to, perfect Forex. And then, if I want to dabble in others is whatever. But I want to definitely get this down packed.
that sounds awesome, and I love your commitment. And please be the guy who's stepping up asking too many questions, because I promise you, you will be the guy in 2 months who says, "Hey, Jenny, guess what? I just checked my accuracy, and I got 19 out of 20 trades, and hey, I just hit $10,000 on the account you're trading by yourself," and that will make
Oh, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm already in the Telegram group. I don't know if people see me. I already asked like 20 questions already because I didn't get on a call with Pat yet. So it's on this like my second day. So I'm like 24/7 up till 12 trying to like look at all his archive videos. So I'm
he's
not playing no games, huh?
he's awesome. You're gonna love him. Just kind of be prepared. We're all a little different, and that's what gives us strength. So he's a little bit more of a tough guy, but he's got like the best heart. So he doesn't do any foolery.
No. I don't need foolery right now because after last week, that's what brought me here. I was like, I'm done. I'm over this. Stock options, I'm done with it. I can't do it no more. My head hurts. Um, but the like I'm joining the AAFX. I used your link this morning that you sent, so I'm opening the account now. It's gonna take me a couple of days to transfer from Bitcoin to the platform and everything. Can I join now and use my Traders Way account that I already have money in to practice
Yeah, go ahead.
until
You can do
okay.
whatever you want, and we can't dictate that. I can just tell you that it's not too much drama for me. But if you've never had a problem with them and you've withdrawn successfully, then have at it. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
like that I don't like, and that's okay. And Keelan in the group who's asking about a VPS, message me. I have a good one. Like, I have a VPS I use that I can recommend. Not that I think that they're the best. I just think they have the best customer service. I don't think AAFX is the best broker. I just think they have the most problem-free withdrawal and a very
Yeah.
high leverage. And that's what I'm looking for in a broker. I would love to have a regulated one, but let's be honest, I don't want to play with 50-to-1 leverage in all fairness. So I'm going to skip that whole, regulated broker concept.
Yeah, as long as I get my money, because I know with Traders Way, the first time I withdrew like last year, they straight gave it back to my debit card, but now you have to go through Bitcoin, you have to go through other ways, so it was stressful. But I think Bitcoin is like the best thing to do now. That's like the game now, I guess. So
All brokers kind of did that because the
yeah,
government.
yeah, everyone's transitioning into Bitcoin now, so I'm just gonna go with it, play that game.
Absolutely, yes.
But all right. So thanks for answering my questions. I'm ready to go.
And
I'm gonna join tonight. I didn't even join yet. I'm gonna join right now actually.
oh,
So
awesome. Well, we super welcome you. Just come with a good attitude. Let's just have some fun. That's all.
oh yeah, of course I need to have fun. I've been losing too much.
I know. Yes. So,
Yeah.
whoever that is in the chat, CSCGR, you can send me a message on Telegram if you would, because I can't post a bunch of stuff in this chat. I can't do it effectively anyways while I'm on a call. So please message me on Telegram and I can answer that question for you, or send you the link or whatever. So, yeah, there you go. Anyhow, next question in terms of specifically what we're doing in this group, how to take a signal or how to manage a trade. Because when somebody watches this recording, if there's something that maybe will help them, let's do that. Otherwise, let's just keep this simple and stress-free and a ton of fun. That's all we're trying to do. That's it. So I'm still hopeful of this trade. I'm not letting it go until it hits or breaks that resistance. So like the doji, but we did just make a higher high.
Jenny, I have a question.
Yes.
On managing our trades when say for instance, we move our stop loss into profit, and a lot of times it's not too far from where the actual price line is, and you kind of inching your way up. If you're at say for instance, we get to, you know, since we're at a small lot size, I noticed the other day I was had maybe about $4 profit. And then you know, if I would have taken that, it would have moved me closer to a better position as opposed to letting the trade kick me out. Which way should we do that? Or is it just up to us?
100% up to you. So again, on a very live recorded call, I practice trade management. I practice it so much that I will miss the big money to ensure a higher accuracy. The worst case scenario, let's say I got in at the best entry, because again, I got in on this call, on this trade on my other account on a better entry, same trade. I got in once, I got in a lot of pips. It was fantastic. I got in again, okay? So I don't mind, you know, following this trade, provided everything lines up with my rules. But I do mind when it goes and it hits my stop loss, especially when you're right anyways. If it hits your stop loss and you're wrong, we have to understand, okay, cool, we did our analysis, we followed our rules, and we can accept the loss. But when it hits your stop loss and you were right, that's kind of awful feeling.
Yeah.
At least for me. So I can't dictate how you do that. As you know, with a USD CAD pair, that doesn't move very much, so you can kind of move that stop loss pretty effectively. With the GBP pair, you got to be super gentle because it wicks like no other. I mean, I bet you this is not a huge wick, and I promise you it's a lot of pips. Let's find out. This wick alone is what, 30 pips, right?
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea, there's too many variables for me to give you an answer that can be applied to all pairs. I'll just tell you that once you're more than 5-7 pips in profit, move it to break even for anything other than a GBP pair. Okay.
Yeah. I've been doing that.
On a GBP pair, you need that whole probably 10 to 15 pips at least. And even then you have to be more careful. But your job is to break even before it is to take a loss.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I hope that helps. I'm sorry it's not more super specific.
No, it helps 100%. Thank you very much.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else have any questions that I can possibly help you with to make sure you super understand what we're doing in this group, how this is going to work, and then that's it. So we're going to jump on the call on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. We may even take a few entries on Friday, provided if we're in any other trades they're still holding. So I mean, I can find us a trade or two a day, provided you know how it's going and how we're managing. That's not even complicated. The problem is you know fishing through and finding the best two. Because on stuff like this, when you pick the two that didn't necessarily move and they stalled out, now you're stuck. But oh well, this is a marathon. We can do it. So, is the room full already?
Question. Another question. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Kurt again. The archive videos in the membership. Should I even look at them now if I join when I join the 6-figure membership, or just wait, like just try to go on from now on? Like, would it be a benefit for me to watch your archive videos?
I can't make that decision for you, but here's the deal. There's a lot of hours, and I get how tedious that is, but you'll also get a chance to experience our entire journey kind of right alongside of us, and that's kind of a good feeling. I will tell you that when I started trading, I was watching videos that were years old from people who, you know, may or may not have been a good idea to be watching them, but I definitely was watching them. So it's not a bad thing to watch them, I promise.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cause I know I was you know, watching videos, you kind of pick up like one of the little things that, you know, help out a lot sometimes. I don't know if it was like beneficial or not, since, you know, I think you said the indicators are different now, right? You're
going to learn. So you're going to watch Pat evolve. You're going to watch me evolve.
Yeah.
You're going to watch the system evolve. And when you grow with something like that, you have the potential to be just as far as we are. So you'll hear me on some of Pat's early calls. You'll hear me on that call asking questions and saying, well, I don't know. There are some people who heard me in other groups with years old, and I was that pushy girl. I was that girl who had all the questions and all the, oh my gosh, what about this? And wait a minute, I don't understand. So there's nothing wrong with watching them. I promise, nothing at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah, cause I think that's how I feel. I'm gonna be one of those. I know, cause I can't lose now. I'm over it. So I'm gonna be asking 1,000 questions to understand. Like I need to understand this time around. I need to. So, all right. So I'll watch it and try to learn as much as I can
Well, do
from
you
the
have a
video.
hot date on Friday night?
Do I have what?
Do you have a hot date on Friday night?
Nah, I wanna have a date with these charts right now. To be honest,
Then
that's
maybe
how I'm feeling.
have
My date money went out the window last week.
a date. So if you have no date, you may as well be watching some videos. That's my point. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, sir. That's all I'm doing. All right.
Thanks.
Questions? Are we supposed to use the same indicators? Craig, you can use whatever your eyes see best. Whatever your eyes see best. It's totally fine. Craig, the room is not full. Is the room full already, or is there a link to join? Craig, can you talk? Can you unmute yourself? Craig Brown, Mr. Brown?
Yes, am I unmuted?
Yep, you're unmuted. I don't understand what you mean. Is the room full?
Well, I haven't seen a link to join because I know it's $60 to join it, right?
Oh, gotcha. That's on the website. So that's on the
Oh, I
Super.
just gotta go back to the website.
Yep, Forex. It's step number 5. You'll get all the indicators. You'll get all the signals and stuff. Take it real slow. Take a breath. Analyze the signal. Watch this video again, please, and go from there. So,
Okay, so just go to the website and all the information will be there.
yes, sir.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions, comments, or anything that I can help with? GBP is moving up. GBP on. Actually, Euro odd is moving up too. So you guys know. Let's see what this does. Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, feelings, whatever? Anything I can help you with? Because I just want everybody to be in a super good place mentally and emotionally. For everybody who's messaging me privately in the chat, please message me on Telegram and I will send you, what is it? The link, the link for VPS and the link for a broker, yeah. Message me on Telegram. It won't even be cut until the end of this.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, who is this?
This is Anil.
Hi, Emil. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
I have a few questions. I guess I'm still not familiar. I just joined it right now, so I probably missed your whole session here. Just a few things. First, on your chart, you have these indicators on top. It says time. What is this indicator on top? M1, M5. Are these
I'm sorry, sweetie. I can't really hardly hear you. Can you?
okay? I just wanted to know the two indicators and how to get them.
Which ones?
One is, I think it's showing on top left, M1, M5, M15. Those are the trends.
Okay, so this one should be on the website. I had given it to Pat. I will confirm that he's got these two on the website. This I got from a previous group.
What is it called?
This is called the GG Trend Bar.
GG Trend Bar.
Yep. And this one it used to be free on Marketplace. It's no longer free. I'm sorry, I really can't do anything about that. You can look up currency strength indicator on the Marketplace on MT4 and it will give it to you. Okay.
Okay. Another question is, now with the signals, how do we get the signal? We have to stay on the, what do you call this, Telegram channel to watch the signals?
So yeah, Telegram channel is where the signals will come in. Okay, the signals will come in on the Telegram channel. In order to enroll in that, you have to go to SuperEZForex.com and click on step 5, and that's how you'll get the signals, the dashboard.
Yeah, I got the dashboard. I got all the indicators, but I don't have the activation code.
Okay, Pat is working on that to the best of his ability. I've been troubleshooting this other side. He's been troubleshooting that side.
Okay.
So we'll be working on it, I promise.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, does that answer your question?
And the broker I was thinking of was the Hughes Way, or which is that broker? Hughes?
I don't know.
Hugo's Way? Hugo's Way?
Okay.
So the option is maximum it is goes is 500 times, I guess.
Yes, that's correct.
So go for the maximum.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. And $200 is good enough.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In fact, I would tell you not to risk more than $200.
Okay.
This is meant to be kind of fun, it's meant to be something that we can do. Yes, it's high risk. It's just the reality of things. So
Okay.
either way, I mean, it's totally up to you how much you're willing to risk. If you can afford to blow 100, $200, go for the high risk. If you can't, and you know that,
Mm-hmm.
stick with the, stick with the lower risk. Super simple.
Okay. 200%.
200 at the very most, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So for the signals, signals can come anytime, right? So that means, is there a way to know when the signal comes?
Well, we don't control the market as much as we wish we did. So you're going to get sometimes in London, sometimes in New York, sometimes in Asia. We're trying to hit every market for everybody around the world to the best of our ability.
Now, what about the long term or the swing trades?
We're going to try to only post a few of those a week. Pat and I have discussed that. So what you have to understand about a long-term trade is once you're in that trade, if you're going for a high risk, you're stuck in that trade for a long time.
That's true, yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. Like, I've compounded successfully. In fact, I finally got my accuracy percentage up by 1%, went back down. But either way, by going to the 4 hour instead of the 1 hour. So that's kind of awesome. The 4 hour is awesome, but you have to be prepared to hold that for a long amount of time.
That takes weeks, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes it does. You'd be surprised.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Let's see. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
Yes, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, I joined today. I don't know if I'm missing a lot or I've missed a lot. I just wanted to ask about the six figures too.
Okay.
Like,
I want to honor you.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm asking if I've missed a lot or I've missed anything because I joined today actually.
Oh, well, welcome to the family. You kind of caught us at a hectic time. Usually the group is really happy and bubbly and helpful. And I love our SuperEZ family. This is kind of a super hectic week. We got a lot going on. We've got some growth happening. So if you just joined the SuperEZ family today, the best place to start is going to be in that pinned post that's in the SuperEZ Telegram channel. Okay? And then also check out all the information on the website. And once you've done that, you can kind of come back to me and we can go from there. Okay?
Okay, thanks. I'm still really interested about this figures channel too. I don't know if I can still join since I just joined the group recently, or should I have to wait for a long time before I can join, or is still open for the new people to join?
Okay. You're more than welcome. How long have you been trading?
Yeah, I've been trading for like 4 months now, but nothing good to talk about. I've joined a lot of group, but
Well, you got to pick something and stick with it. So if you're going to get any good at trading, you got to turn off all the other noise and get good at something. Okay. So I don't care if it's, I have a bias for SuperEZ. I love the family. I love the people. I love the system. I love the personal growth. But either way, you've got to pick something long enough to stick with it to get good. So your job is going to be to create a set of rules based off of all the knowledge you've accumulated so far, including the SuperEZ system. Create a set of rules based off of a certain time frame and trade that set of rules for a couple weeks to a month. Once you've done that, Now you're going to know exactly where you stand according to trading, according to accuracy percentages, wins and losses, and all that other good stuff. And then you'll have actual real data that you can work with to become successful.
Okay.
If you want the challenge, I would recommend you go to the website, start with all the videos on the website, and at least the first 4 in the pinned post. When that's done, you can watch this recording, which I'm going to make sure Pat puts into the pinned post as well. And then you can decide if that's something that's for you. It's super simple. You get some cool tools. You get some signals. Your job is to analyze those signals before you take them. We'll work with you in terms of compounding. You'll get access to a little bit more advanced trading and training, and that's about it. But that's 100% your choice, and I definitely hope that SuperEZ feels like it has for many of us.
Okay.
Welcome to the family.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. All right, any other questions or comments?
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, who's this?
This is Sherry. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Ma'am?
Okay, I only have one question. Some people still haven't haven't been able to install the indicators. Is it going to make that big of a difference in performance if they use the old indicators?
Wow. You mean in terms of the dashboard? See, the dashboard is created with the new indicators, okay? So if you're using the dashboard, I think you have to use the new indicators. Now, if it's going to make that much of a difference in terms of the rest of your trading, no, not really. That daily is better by all means, but it's not going to make a huge difference, no.
All righty, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, anything else pertinent? I want to try to keep this to a reasonable length. What time is it? I think I did okay. I think. Not bad. An hour.
Hey, Jenny, I have a question.
DJ, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Hey, so this is about calculating your lot size. So if we use the, for instance, the STENU calculator, and we, put the balance on there and, we calculate our lot size, obviously it's going to be different compared to the worksheet we have because it's based off USD pairs, so we on a different pair other than that.
Yes.
What I'm wondering is, on that worksheet, say you don't reach your target profit, say you don't reach half of your target profit, it's on that sheet it says, okay, stay at that same exact lot size. But if you use the STENU calculator, it's gonna adjust it slightly, your lot size. So should you just like make a mental note of how much you put in there before and then just keep on doing that until you reach the next level, or should you just do exactly what the STENU calculator says?
That's a personal preference. You have to be consistent though. And here's what I mean. So if you're using the STENU or the MyFX book or the lot size calculator indicators that go on your chart, so those are all 3 in one category. That's option A. Option B is just sticking with the chart. The reason why you have to be consistent is because now you're calculating at different percentages if you vary back and forth. Does that make sense? So your first rule is if you're going to use STENU, you need to stick with STENU or MyFX book or the lot calculator, etc. So it is going to vary, but you're still going to, if you were using STENU, your job is going to be to type in your account balance, whatever that is. And you're going to type in, for example, 20% growth based off of what pair. And yes, it's going to be different. So your next trade, you're going to do the same concept, which would mean type in your actual account size, right? Whatever your actual account size is, not your pending orders, your possible profits, your actual account size. And now you're going to do 20% of that account size for your next trade based off of that pair. You can't be in more than 2 to 3 trades at one time, right? And even 3 is pushing it if you want the truth. 2 is better. That's why I put 2 on the sheet. And then you consistently keep doing that. And now all the way through your, maybe it equals out to be 60 or 70 trades, which might be 4 to 5 weeks. Because think about how fast some of them close, right? You get knocked out a few different times. But each time you do that, you're checking it against the calculator, you're going to have a much more accurate, dollar for dollar 6 figures. But either way, it's going to take you to the same place. You're going to end up at the same place. You're just going to have created more work, and you're going to be a lot more accurate in terms of your risk and your reward, but it's going to take you to the same destination. So The path you choose to get there is up to you. But that's all I can say. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thanks, Jenny.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jenny, this is Ian.
Ian, how are you?
Awesome. Good talking to you. Two quick things. One, the signals that we get are generally going to be like in that 20, 25 pip range.
No, we're not committing to any range.
Oh, okay. I mean, I was just thinking about the chart when you took the what are we calling this? The six-figure trading plan. For compounding, I was just thinking about it and in reference to just thinking about 20% and then, okay, which lot size to use when I see to take profits of 25, 35, 55. I assume that's pip sizes?
Yeah. So if you're going to use this column, remind you, you're multiplying high risk times more high risk.
Right.
Going for these two columns, okay? Because now you're doing a moderate amount of risk with a high amount of percentage, okay? So again,
Okay.
people, if you want the whole truth, some people can do much higher percentages of this based off of 10 pips. But ask the people who have done it. There's a few of them I think that are on this call. They successfully turned like $100 into, I think it was 13,000 they got it to, give or take. Because it works. It works like a charm. It works until one trade doesn't work and you're like, boom, it's all gone. All gone. You can do it this. It's not impossible. You're working with a group of this magnitude and this many variables. Again, some pairs aren't worth very much. Some pairs are worth twice as much. If I want you guys to be safe, I'd much rather see you guys taking these trades that go for 40 to 50 pips, knowing that some of them are going to close out with 10. And no problem, if your account size is this big or equal to or greater than this number, you're going to trade this lot size. If your account size is equal to, oh, silly me, I hate when I do that. If it's equal to or greater than this number, you're going to trade these lot sizes. Cool. And just keep going down. So you got to stick to these two columns. It's going to be a lot safer. Because if you're sticking to these two columns, you can definitely be in 3 trades. If you're in this column, you can only be in 2.
Okay, so I mean, I want to be a little bit more aggressive because I don't mind blowing through some my smaller accounts. So if I'm at 20%, I can stick to that column and be okay. If I'm in one trade, let's say 1, 2 max, if the first one's in profit already.
Yes. If you follow this like it's your bread and butter, you will still be successful in this column and this percentage.
Okay.
And I'm recorded. I promise you could be successful with the smaller number and a higher number if you follow these rules exactly. But most people read these rules and then they kind of bend them until they break. So, the whole thing. If you follow this, if you honestly follow the rule that says I'm not going to take my next entry until this is protected profit, so it is safe, I'll take my entry. You'd be surprised how amazing you can do this. It's going to take what feels like a long time, because some days you'll find nothing, other days you'll find 3 things, but you found them all at the same time, and you can't take them all at the same time, right?
Gotcha. Nope.
So it's a process, but if you stay the course, you're going to be like, oh my goodness. So.
Okay. And, thank you very much for that. And second question, if you can go back to your chart real quick. There is, no, not that. You're on your chart, your trading chart. There you go. Down the bottom up, because since I set up my new AAFX account and I'm trying to get my new chart to match my old chart. Down on the bottom, the MACD is it an oscillator, I guess?
This is another thing that I gave to the SuperEZ group. It's called the MACD True, and it's just my favorite. There's a couple of versions floating around. This is my favorite personally. It's their traditional MACD, the trading view settings. That doesn't come. It doesn't come out in MetaTrader 26.9. It should be in the group files. I'm gonna have to just give all this stuff to Pat and make sure he's got it on the website too. But he's got a version, but his, I think.
Because I have it now under my Hugo's Way account. I just can't seem to find it under MACD True Color if I'm looking over in the not Market Watch, the other thing, the
navigator.
Yeah, the navigator. I'm sorry. What's it called over there? Because I'm not seeing it. Something that says MACD True Color. I see, MACD, but that's not the same thing.
It's in the triple arrows.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see you got it. I see you got it there. Yeah, I'm not seeing that on mine, but I know I have it set up on my chart now, but I'm just not seeing it in my navigator. All right, I'll have to look for it. And somebody that said it's in triple arrows, I'll check there as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, any other questions, comments, or things that I can help with? I just want you guys to be super clear on what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it. And again, if you can stay the course, which means you can tolerate what happens with this trade. Some of us took a loss, some of us didn't. And that's great, no problem. We're going to have to kind of find our own flow of this, continue on the path, and see where it leads us. Like, that's all we're going to do. And it's going to be a ton of fun if we all stay on the same page. So, ton of fun. All right, any other questions? Because I want to stop this recording. So if it's something that you think might help somebody other than yourself, by all means, get up the courage to ask it. Anybody at all?
Have a good evening, Jenny.
Thank you, Derek. I super appreciate you very, very much. All right, guys. Well, then I'm going to wrap it up because I want to keep this short enough where people can watch it. I just want everybody to understand clearly. Starting on Thursday, we are going to have the regular scheduled trading. If I see a trade in between now and then, I might either drop a Zoom link or we will drop like a video where you will kind of see it, or maybe we'll just hang out and take a look. Otherwise, on Thursday morning, I'd like us all to be ready to just have a good time and be happy about it. So just have a good time and look at some trades. You're more than welcome to share with me your setups, what you're seeing, or somebody in the chat was saying, hey, no, this isn't ready yet, or that's not ready yet. That's the whole idea of collaborating. It is for us to be a team and a family and to look at things. And we're not always going to agree, but that's the beauty of it, is we're not supposed to. Like, that's the beauty. So be prepared to have a good time. Starting next week, Tuesday nights will be for beginners only. You're more than welcome to jump on, help out where you can, but it'll mostly be for the beginners just to kind of ask their super basic, how can you help me questions. Whereas like Tuesday and Thursday mornings, we're going to be looking at live trades that will only be for the six figures only group. And we will be also kind of discussing more continuations, more advanced support, trend lines, just a different level of trading, to say simply. And that's what we're going to be doing. Pat will continue his Tuesday and Wednesday calls for the newbies, for those who want to stick with that. You're more than welcome to do so. And any signal that you guys get, please analyze it according to your own rules. If you can't see it, don't take it. If you're curious, take it in your demo. Just have some fun. Or if you feel like you have the itch to trade some live money, fine. Take the trade based off of 1% or something. And then just see how they all play out. Take a percentage at the end of the month. I mean, you're more than welcome to do stuff like that. And again, just treat this like an education, because that is the end of the night. So I'm going to call it over. I super appreciate and adore every single one of you. I hope you have a fantastic night, sweet dreams, and God bless.
God bless, Jenny. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Jenny. Everybody have a good night.
Have a good night, Jenny. Take care. Everyone else, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.